Hello there, good afternoon and a warm welcome to NTA Nationwide. I'm Joseph Johnson, glad you could join us. Following the receipt of a full brief on the 2017 appropriation bill as passed by the National Assembly and to buttress the unity at the highest level of government, President Muhammadu Buhari has indicated that it is in the interest of the nation's economy for the acting president Professor Yemi Osinbajo to sign the appropriation bill into law. In a letter dated June 10, 2017, which he personally signed and addressed to the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Udoma Udodoma, the President also said he was pleased by the joint resolution that the executive would submit next year's budget proposals by October 2017 and the National Assembly will conclude the appropriation process by December 2017 so that the country can return to a normal fiscal period from next year onwards. The Nigerian Television Authority has been commended for complying with the provision of the Federal Character Commission Act in its nominal role. The NTA management received the commendation from the Senate Committee on Federal Character when it appeared before it to provide explanations on personnel recruitments. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
The Senate Committee on Federal Character has the mandate of ensuring fair distribution of personnel across the country in all the government ministries, departments and agencies. After a thorough examination of the documents presented and oral submission by the Director General of NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, relating to the nominal role, last recruitment, which was in 2013, and the involvement of the Ministry of Information and the Federal Character Commission in the whole exercise, the Senate Committee applauded the NTA for a fair distribution of personnel in the authority across the country. It urged the NTA management to consider in its future recruitments some states with shortfalls.
Very clear record. I don't see anything so aligned at all. I think this is a very commendable position.
Some of the figures we have seen in other agencies, US represents a very fair distribution of the staffing position of the NTA.
The Director General of NTA also explained that necessary arrangements have been concluded with relevant authorities to fill existing vacancies.
The approval was duly granted. To date, we have not received the approval of the budget office. But without that approval, we will be an exercise of futility. We will be starting with people who have appointment letters who are working but are not being paid. So we're just waiting for the approval from the budget office before we replace the 260 people that have been approved by the Office of the Head of Service.
He further assured the National Assembly of the commitment of the NTA towards the unity, peace and progress of the nation. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
As part of measures to enhance standards of living, create job opportunities and guarantee green environment, Nigeria is seeking assistance from the international community to finance a recurring deficit in national budget. The request by the Nigeria delegation at the International Labour Conference in Geneva, Switzerland, is based on opportunities opened to member nations of the ILO. Correspondent Emmanuel Yemero tells us more.
Having presented Nigeria's position to the Parliament by the Minister of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, and NLC President Ayuba Waba on the activities of government and labour to better the lives of Nigerians, the need for the country to enjoy the support of ILO to achieve sustainable peace and resilience was emphasized. Nigerian delegates say when people are engaged, peace is sustained, which makes the assistance of the international community very important.
Our budgetary provisions, but it's never enough. They should also come to the aid of Nigeria in tackling the insurgency. Niger Delta insurgency is there that has made for low revenue receipt, and we also have the insurgency in the northeast, the Boko Haram insurgency, which have consumed our resources, a lot of our resources, which we will have deployed in this area of cleaner energy that we're talking about. So they can support us in terms of youth employment, in terms of skills support, and make for decent work.
A lot of youths are not employed, and therefore there is a provision for technical assistance by the ILO, which can be extended to the tripod in countries to be able to address this issue.
Various lobbying and negotiations are ongoing to derive maximum benefits for the country.
Algeria, yesterday we had a discussion with them whereby we are looking at the possibility of at least getting about 1 million seedlings of dates so that we can have them planted in various parts of Nigeria. These are commercial trees. By the time we paid our young men to look after them, whatever is made out of that, they will definitely benefit. And it takes just 6 months for those trees to become productive.
Nigerian delegates are currently participating in various committees where compliance with different conventions and standards are being scrutinized. From Geneva in Switzerland, Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
And back home, deficiencies in entrepreneurial studies must be addressed for Nigeria to tackle unemployment and create more jobs for her teeming unemployed. Guest on Good Morning Nigeria said this while discussing the topic, creating jobs in Nigeria, describing the present approach as theoretical, not taking into account developmental and vocational needs. The guest suggests developing curricula geared at acquiring skills to solve the problem. Lydia Sampson reports.
With an estimated population of over 170 million in Nigeria and the youth population constituting about half of it, experts have noted that this population, if properly harnessed, can be turned into an asset. Ironically, the country is battling unemployment and unemployability. Guests say there is a mismatch of academic skills and labor market requirement.
Of course, if you meet a lot of the unemployed graduates, they will tell you, when the employer is asking me for experience, how am I supposed to get the experience if nobody takes the faith in me? And that's what this is. So for 200,000 of them that we deployed last November to the 36 states and FCT across 3 basic economic areas again.
A situation whereby we have graduates for the advanced and we have the basic for non-graduates. We also have a program called CGS, that is Graduate Coaching Scheme. In this program, we are targeting young Nigerians who have not made up as far as UME, WAEC and the rest.
They advocate for synergies that will ensure that more mileage is gained, especially in agriculture, and to wrap up on technical, vocational and construction works as against bringing in experts from other countries to take away jobs hitherto meant for Nigerians. They are of the view that skills empowerment will keep citizens economically engaged. They suggest the need to build capabilities and competence in solar and renewable energy to create sustainable jobs. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Now, the only African Union candidate vying for the post of the Director General of UNESCO, Ambassador Moshira Kidnap, says her vision for the organization is keenly on education. Ambassador Kidnap, who is an Egyptian diplomat and human rights activist, made her intentions clear at a press briefing in Abuja as she tours UNESCO member states to secure their support. Justin Bemhui has the rest of the story.
Moshira Kidnap, a special envoy of Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, was in Nigeria to solicit support to win the position of Director General of the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO.
My vision for UNESCO is to be closer to the people and closer to its mandate. We don't want UNESCO to be deviated from its original mandate. For African countries, education is very important.
Ms. Kidnap also looks out to effectively address and clamp down the challenge of global terrorism, while the prevailing situation of education statistics in Nigeria, especially in the Northeast, is also an area of concern for the new visioned UNESCO.
The current very difficult situation where terrorism has hit every corner in the world. No place now is immune from terrorism. And you cannot deal with it only with arms and security forces. You have to deal with it through immunizing the minds against indoctrination, against radicalization. I find this very, very important and very cost effective.
The African Union endorsed the Egyptian nominee on the 17th of July last year for the post of the DG UNESCO to represent Africa at the elections scheduled for this year. In Abuja, Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
The 12th of June every year has been set aside by the United Nations and International Labour Organization as the World Day Against Child Labour to raise awareness on the plight of child labourers worldwide. It is estimated that there are about 215 million child labourers in the world, with 115 million involved in hazardous work with undignified conditions inimical to their health. Nigeria, in spite of legislative measures, child labour remains a major concern, with figure of children working below the age of 14 years put at 15 million as a result on varying factors. Earlier I spoke with a guest on News Panorama, Sharon Olajiji, who observed that poverty and perceptions are factors that contribute to child labour, saying media and community leaders have a crucial role to play.
Stop treating your children like this. Don't treat your child like this. Don't make your child a laborer. That is on that side. Then before the government makes policies and implement the laws, the law enforcement officers, it's a whole lot we can do, but starting with the media.
And maintenance must be a major component in any contract agreement to avoid incessant collapse of some of the nation's infrastructure. Leadership of the Nigerian Society Engineers gave the challenge during the adoption of engineers in Abuja. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday has the details.
The federal government from the onset put in place and encouraged infrastructural development in the country. Well, one can say the government has played its part, expecting the citizens to ensure the judicious use of the projects. Members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers took to the streets of Abuja to sensitize residents on the need to maintain and sustain the existing infrastructure. The new engineers were told to be agents of change in their various establishments.
You must be able to look at these things to make it fit for use at every point in time. And so the first danger is that you stand the chance of losing that facility, and then it endangers life around it too.
Willingness to maintain this infrastructure, and that will go a long way in sustaining these infrastructures.
You don't have to wait for the structure to break down or collapse before you start talking about repair or maintenance.
Some of the newly adopted engineers vowed to support government in ensuring durability of national assets.
Bring up my subordinates and to make them practice maintenance culture in an adequate manner.
We must take it from that area if we're truly interested, if we want the government of Nigeria to actually recognize and support us.
It is expected that when these engineers affect their colleagues positively, it will translate into a better maintenance culture in the country. Adebola Brookslyn Sunday, NTA News.
Now let's take you back to our earlier story about June 12, as our correspondent takes a look at the significance of June 12 in Nigeria's democracy. And now let's join Jennifer, who will be taking us on some of the stories making rounds in that zone, Lagos Network Center. Jennifer, it's over to you.
Thank you, Joseph. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. 24 years after the annulment of the June 12 presidential election in Nigeria, stakeholders in the democratic project have called for the immortalization of the winner of the June 12 election, described as the most peaceful election in the history of Nigeria. We'll bring you details in a subsequent bulletin. Now, the Nigerian police force has arrested the most wanted kidnap kingpin, Chukwudi Onuadike, popularly known as Evans. The suspect was paraded at the Lagos State Police Command Ikeja alongside his gang members. Doidia reports.
Their gunshots heralds the arrival of the special anti-kidnap convoy which brought the notorious gang leader Chukwudi Duneme Onuamadike, aka Evans. Police Public Relations Officer Jima Moshood said the suspect was arrested by the Joint Special Forces led by the Intelligence Response Team after a gun battle.
The people he led in the operation of kidnapping kidnapped their suspected and unsuspecting victims and subsequently hand over to another gang who now go and take the victim to their hideout. So the two separate gangs that he operates on in every operation doesn't know themselves.
Amongst the members of the kidnap gang who were paraded is a middle-aged woman, Ogechi Amadi, who is said to be in charge of the feeding of victims.
It was last year, July, that I had been in Lagos. It's the one that did the victim. And he bring it to the house and should take care of the man.
5 AK-47 rifles and 1 AK-49 rifle, as well as 2 double-barrel guns, 2 English pistols, 59 AK-47 magazines, as well as 5 number plates were recovered from the suspects in Lagos during Dia. NT News.
And to health, participants of Maternal Awareness Campaign have called for concerted efforts towards reducing maternal mortality rate to the barest minimum in Nigeria. This, they say, require prompt action and collaboration by government, caregivers, and the people. They made a call at the launch of a campaign in Lagos to end maternal mortality. Joy Ken Abakboya has details.
Maternal mortality, according to experts, is the death of a woman during pregnancy or within 42 days of termination of pregnancy, irrespective of duration or management. However, statistics reveal that in Nigeria, a woman dies every 15 minutes due to childbirth complications, making the country the second largest contributor to maternal mortality rate globally. This not too pleasant statistics informed the new strategy of aggressive awareness campaign among Nigerians to reduce maternal mortality.
It's very important for every woman to have some sort of antenatal care, where they have their blood sugar checked on a regular basis, their blood pressure checked, they have blood tests to see if they're anemic or not. These are sort of things that are basic and can tell a lot.
It's something that somebody should focus on, whether government, private individual, and then all that are involved, the women should also be part of the initiative to make this go away.
The cause championed by the ACT Foundation is to promote awareness on the issue, which is attributed to medical ignorance and inadequate care for pregnant women.
With the right information, the right orientation, maternal mortality can be prevented, it can be avoided, and of course it can be reduced.
Every pregnant woman out there or about to get pregnant to know what her roles in terms of taking care of herself before and during pregnancy.
The End Maternal Mortality campaign will be taken across the 36 states of the Federation. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakboya, NTA News.
Thank you, Joy. You're still watching NTA Nationwide News. Back to Joseph in Abuja for more on Nationwide News. Joseph, over to you.
Jennifer from our Lagos Network Center there. Building consensus on the protection and preservation of holy sites in Nigeria is crucial for sustainable peace. Special advisor to the Protection of Holy Sites project stated this at a conference in Abuja. Abdullahi Suleimani Aji has that report.
In the search for a common ground to strengthen cooperation and uphold the right to practice choice religion, participants are charting a way forward towards ensuring that holy sites are no longer desecrated.
Places of worship are neutral
There are places that if I'm in trouble, I can run to. And I will get protection, I will get counseling, I will get support.
Anywhere that people worship, there are places that we feel should be protected.
So if every conflict is fought on the pedestal of religion, it means that we should use that religion to combat the conflict, because the solution is in the religion itself.
There is an understanding that religion needs to be engaged in order to promote peace.
One of the things that the organization has been doing is fact-finding, meeting with religious leaders so as to be able to better advise government.
Religious tolerance among adherents of the different faiths is recommended as key to avoid conflicts and promoting peaceful coexistence. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
As part of measures to inculcate adherence to traffic rules and regulations in the country, the Federal Road Safety Corps is to commence psychiatric tests on traffic offenders from 1st of July 2017. Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi stated this at second phase training of its personnel on non-motorized transportation in Abuja. Aliu Tukru has details.
Traffic light violation is a common sight, especially on weekends and during some specific hours of the day. This may be attributed to indiscipline on the part of motorists and lack of adequate sanction by enforcing agencies. However, the Federal Road Safety Corps, having noticed that the trend is on the increase, is to commence psychiatric tests on 4 categories of offenders. These include traffic light violators, dangerous driving, road violation, and usage of telephone while driving.
We cannot continue to be having fatal crashes due to traffic light violation. People jumping the traffic light, I think, is a crass responsibility. There is need for us to be more careful. So it's a no-go area. When they are fit, then they go back for drivers retraining program. They will still pay the fine, but it's to take it from the issue of psychology.
The non-motorized transportation training program, which is in collaboration with the government of Netherlands, is aimed at enhancing advocacy and adaptation to safety for the mode of transportation, while highlighting the importance of the non-motorized transportation, such as reduction of vehicle emission, decongesting the roads, and accident reduction. The Corps Marshal noted that the training will also improve the current status of non-motorized transport in the country. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Muslims urged to make piety their watchword during and after the holy month of Ramadan. Let's join Suleiman in our Kaduna Network Center for details. Suleiman?
Welcome to Kaduna. Some Igbos residing in Kaduna have appeals for caution in the ongoing altercation between some northern youths and their southeastern counterparts following the recent ultimatum for them to leave the north. Rabbi Laguna reports that they are told to their kinsmen in the region to go about their lawful businesses.
We do apologize for the poor audio quality from our Kaduna Network Center. If we can, we will rejoin them in the course of the bulletin. Just time to remind you that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Let's pause now for some messages, more reports on Nationwide shortly. Stay with us.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
magazine is out, with fabulous Fab Funke Akindele Bello, aka Jennifer, adorning the cover. She opens a secret not known even to her family. Find out the secret. NTA turns 40 this year. The challenges, the emerging trends in broadcasting, and the way forward. Weekend Dealer 2. Meet the team behind the biggest deal on NTA. Is food still the way to a man's heart? If not, what else? This edition is hot and juicy. Meet your star faces on screen. Entertainment, fashion, young minds, social media, and great personality.
This is idiosyncratic and heterodox.
Yes, Professor John Bull is on the radar. Find out what makes this program the rave of the moment on NTA Network, and for the Prof,
over and out.
TV Guide. Ask your vendors or book your copy at every NTA station nationwide. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion.
My name is Hadiza Mohammed from Bauchi. I'm one of the beneficiaries of Empower program. Yes, I graduated since 2010. The little money I got from my NYSC, I decided to start something with it. That is, I started selling firewood and recharge cards to take my family, my aged parents, and my siblings to school. I was possessed to one village. You understand? You know, I'm a degree holder, so I don't have much experience in teaching. So I have to, when I look at the children, I say, look, I have to do this thing. Even those that have experience, they are not better than I do. You know, the children are willing to come to school, but there are no teachers in that village. So I said, Kai, let me help these children. I'm also a graduate. Let me help them. Let them know how to read and write. Let them know how to read and write just the way I am. Let me try my best and see that they have gained something too, through me. We pray that the Almighty Allah should give the president sound health.
Imagine being without your phone for 2 weeks. Imagine being without your car for 2 weeks. Imagine being without electricity for 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks is definitely a big deal. Subscribe for 2 months on any bouquet and get 2 weeks free of exciting content like the International Champions Cup, the FIFA Confederations Cup, and all FIFA competitions, SpongeBob, Dora the Explorer, and so much more. So, go ahead and subscribe for 2 months and get 2 weeks free. Keep the children and the entire family entertained during the summer holiday, and they will definitely thank you for it. Store Times. Enjoy digital life.
Welcome back. You're watching NTA Nationwide with me, Joseph Johnson. Now, everyone wants to lead a successful life despite Nigeria's grappling economy. But achieving this feat is a task measured by how well Nigerians handle the challenges that beset their desired success. This, among others, is what the book Living the Life by Okechinye seeks to address as it was presented to the public in Abuja. Let's get more insight into the book now. Economic hardship knows no boundaries, as does survival instinct of those bearing the brunt. But some people still do not know what to do in order to succeed in all areas of their lives, as most of them have resigned to fate and invariably become victims of circumstance. Chinye's Living the Life is a 273-page compendium and guide into a new, purposeful and fulfilling way of living, as it is packed with practical tools, action plans, life lessons and inspiring messages to surmount challenging circumstances.
We are facing economic realities, but if you read the book, you will operate divine economy.
There's something inside of you that you can use and turn into a source of income. God has put abilities, interests in you. And the best way to do great work is to do what you were created for.
It asks you the question, do you find fulfillment in your job? If you are not making progress, it points you to the things you need to do to improve on those areas that you're not doing well.
The author believes that if after reading the book you still fail, the reason will no longer be that of ignorance, but willful failure due to deliberate avoidance of applying the knowledge gained thereof. And now let's rejoin our Kaduna Network Center as we've been able to rectify the audio problem. Now, Suleiman, I'm sure you're ready and good to go.
Thank you very much, Joseph, and thank you for coming back to us. Some Igbos residing in Kaduna have appealed for caution in the ongoing altercation between some northern youths and their southeastern counterparts following the recent ultimatum for them to leave the north. Ibrahim Belagunda reports that they appeal to their casemen in the region to go about their lawful businesses peacefully.
The recent ultimatum by coalition of northern youths in Kaduna, giving Igbos 90 days to vacate the region, came as a surprise to many, being the first of its kind in the history of the country. Picking on the ultimatum in Kaduna, Eze Indigbo, Silvanus Aneke said they are not happy with the development, considering the years they have put to the development of the region.
We are here, we've been here doing our legitimate businesses, helping to develop the North, helping to develop Nigeria. But I believe that Kaduna is my home, and I'm here. So and let me tell you, most Igbos believe in unity of this country.
Some Igbos interviewed said, in spite of the development, they still feel at home in the north.
I can see most of the transaction for the country is in between Hausas and Igbos. And I look at two of them as people that cannot live without each other. So they need each other.
It's very, very bad development, and we Igbos in the north, we are not happy about it. We are all one Nigeria.
The problem, as I've did since I like it as today.
Surely I feel bad about it. In the normal sense that I have been all my lifetime, I spent it over here.
It is a known fact that Igbos contribute to business and commercial investment in northern Nigeria, amounting to trillions of naira. In Kaduna, Ibrahim Belagunda, NTA News.
Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar has assured of Nigeria's armed forces' commitment to tackling all forms of security threats within the country and during peace support operations on the continental scene. The Air Chief was speaking during the graduation of Junior Course 83 2017 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji. Benny Adams has the details.
These are junior commanders from Nigerian Armed Forces. Others are of Botswana, Cameroon, Congo Republic, Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Niger, and Sierra Leone, all trained to confront contemporary security challenges in their various countries, especially member states of the multinational force against insurgency led by Nigeria. To be fully equipped for future challenges, the officers and their civilian counterparts from sister agencies went through various tactical and operational training in warfare, staff duty, and leadership within and outside the country, to include Colombia, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka, among others, during this period of 6 months at the college. Guest of honor at the event, Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Baba Abubakar, represented by the Chief of Policy and Plans, Air Vice Marshal James Goom, opines that with the huge resources invested in the officers, they are expected to be efficient anytime duty calls.
So we are sure and we have no doubts that they will represent the armed forces of this country effectively anywhere they are deployed.
Earlier in his address, Commandant of the college, Air Vice Marshal Suleiman Abubakar Dambo assured of better quality graduates from the college, as the college will soon effect the implementation of its latest-reviewed curricula, which he said captures contemporary trends in warfare and security. Graduates who distinguished themselves were rewarded. In Kaduna, Ben Adams, NTA News.
And with that report, it's back to you, Joseph, for more on the Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Suleiman. Nigerian Army Christian Women Fellowship have joined well-meaning Nigerians in offering succor to victims of Boko Haram insurgency with assorted food items at the Makohi IDP camp in Yola. Simon Asha reports that the gesture is part of activities marking the 3-Division Christian Women Fellowship Convention holding at the 23 Brigade in Yola.
The convention with the theme Positive Impact of a Christian Mother within Military Barracks is aimed at extending love and friendship to the needy, thereby giving them a sense of belonging. Members of the Nigerian Army Christian Women Fellowship were at the Malkoyi camp to identify with the IDPs, console them at their trying moment, as well as offer them donations of food items to help improve their feeding at the camp.
I present this as a token to the IDPs. May God continue to protect and bless you.
National President of the Fellowship, Mrs. Dorothy Bani Faransa, says the gesture is to help ameliorate the hardships of the IDPs.
We know that it's not much. Silver and gold we don't have. But little we have, we've come to share with you, to show you that we have concern and we've been praying for you.
Camp manager Giwa Kuritsi and the camp chairman of the IDPs, Nicholas Samuel, on behalf of the internally displaced persons, thanked the Nigerian Army Christian Women Fellowship for the kind gesture and promised judicious usage of the items donated. In Yola, Simon Asher, NTA News.
A bit on religion now. The role of women and men in Islam towards nation building was the thrust of a Ramadan lecture in Abuja. Deputy Chief Imam of Abuja National Mosque urged Nigerians to always imbibe the spirit of peace and unity to achieve the desired progress and development of the country. Garba Muhammad Natala was there, now reports.
The lecture, organized by Afeme Islamic Movement, a body of Edo Muslim community, is dedicated to the spiritual development of women and children. The lecture focuses on understanding the rights of men and women, as well as the uniqueness of their individual roles to nation building. The Deputy Chief Imam, National Mosque, Abuja, Sheikh Ahmad Onile Wura, submits that although Islam was emphatic on men having an edge over women, particularly in leadership of the home and inheritance, the virtues of righteousness, fairness, and peaceful coexistence remain critical.
I'm appealing to all of us, regardless of your denominations, be peaceful in whatever you do. Let's be truthful.
Other scholars examine the vital role of men and women towards child upbringing, which must conform to the teachings of Islam.
We must follow it up with patience. You cannot say that you are saying the truth, then you are not patient.
Women are not supposed to be maltreated in any way, but they are supposed to be humble and respectful towards the husband and bring up their children Islamically.
The lessons of the lecture is that Muslims should not go back to bad old ways after imbibing good and decent moral values during the month of Ramadan. In Abuja, Garba Muhammad Natala, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force redoubles effort towards addressing housing deficit among airmen and airwomen. Over to Susan in Makadi for more details. Susan, it's good to see you.
Joseph, and welcome to Makudi. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo has advocated a holistic approach to wiping out hunger in developing countries by 2030 as a way of tackling insecurity. Chief Obasanjo made the advocacy in Makudi, the Benue State capital, when he led the Nigeria Zero Hunger Strategic Forum to its maiden meeting. Achigili Magaji reports.
The Zero Hunger is the second goal of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which seeks a multi-sectoral development of developing countries. Having adopted goals in Nigeria with Chief Obasanjo as chairman, 5 states of Benue, Borno, Ebonyi, Ogun, and Sokoto have been selected for the pilot baseline studies. The team undertook a study tour of some farms and agricultural processing outfits in the state for first-hand information. In its analysis, the team expressed satisfaction with what is on ground, but advised a scaling up efforts for the goals to be met in the state in reducing hunger.
What you must contribute, then we are failing. That is also what Zero Hunger Forum is all about. What are you doing right so that you continue to do it right?
Governor Samuel Otom lauded the initiative and said the visit will be of immense benefit to the state. His counterpart from Ebonyi, David Umahi, noted that it was an eye-opener for his state where profitable agricultural policies will be adopted. The team was later treated to a dinner where Chief Obasanjo displayed his dance skill. In Makudi, Achigilmagaji, NT News.
Meanwhile, issues of peaceful coexistence, improved agricultural production and security dominated discussion during the homage on the tortive by former President Olusegun Obasanjo in Gboko, Benue State. Achigili Magaji again has details.
Expectedly, it was a warm reception. As it is with the practice of such visits, the tortive expressed gratitude to the former president for the leadership role he is playing not just for the country, but the entire Africa and the black race. Professor Ayatsi drew his attention to the significant position the Tiv race is occupying in the country in terms of population, yet they are being marginalized in national equation. The Tiv also called for the fatherly intervention of the former president in the areas of farm input for Benue to improve in its food production capacity, as well as in the area of herdsmen attack on farming communities.
Your Excellency, you have a strong and respected voice in this nation and beyond. I appeal to you to speak out to prevent what looks like a carefully planned program to kill us and take over our land.
Chief Obasanjo promised to use his outreach to assist in the areas of concern and urged the Totiv to foster unity among his subjects for sustainable peace to be attained.
All being well, this state will continue to be a major food basket of this country.
The former president also re-inaugurated the renovated schools of nursing and midwifery in Makudi, where he commended Governor Samuel Otom for his efforts. In Makudi, Achigile Magaji, NT News.
As part of efforts to provide conducive working environment for its personnel, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, has inaugurated 30 units of one-bedroom apartment for airmen and airwomen of the Nigeria Air Force, Makudi. While urging the initial beneficiaries to take good care of the facilities, he disclosed that more personnel will soon benefit from similar projects to boost their morale. Godwin Inalegu completes the report.
The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, said the objective of providing decent accommodation for the personnel is to enable them perform their duties effectively. The gesture, he explained, will be replicated in Kenji, Port Harcourt, Lagos, and other bases. On the quality of work done, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar said he is satisfied, adding that the Nigerian Air Force is known for high standards.
We have, in terms of resources, you have aircraft, you have all sorts of oxygen plants, and so many other things. But of all these resources, the most important is the human being, because it's the human being that operates the aircraft.
The Chief of Air Staff also inspected facilities at the engineering, electrical, mechanical, and sheet metal works at the 131 Engineering Group hangar, as well as the Jaguar simulator at the Jaguar Sim Complex. He has since left for Kenji in Niger State in continuation of his inspection tour. In Makudi, Godwin Inalegu, NTA News.
And that's our package from Makudi. It's back to Joseph in Abuja for more on NTA Nationwide.
Thanks a lot, Susan. The House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee investigating alleged abuse of pioneer status by companies has observed that the federal government loses huge sums of revenue through evasion of company income taxes by some beneficiaries of tax exemption. The committee made the observation at an investigative hearing on the abuse of pioneer status by companies. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
On the first day of the House of Representatives investigative hearing on the abuse of pioneer status, that is, tax exemption by companies, it discovered that the condition for awarding the status has been compromised. And at the hearing involving 3 companies, Galaxy Backbone, AACE and Falcon Corporation, it also discovered the non-payment of company income tax by some companies who have benefited from tax holiday.
When these are monies that are supposed to accrue to help us out as a country, I believe if we had these incomes, our income stream would have been much better and we might not have even been in this recession.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives Committee on Youth Development has visited Adamawa and Gombe State National Youth Service Corps orientation camps, where it observed that some camps in the country are uninhabitable, such as the Gombe State Orientation Camp.
You are serving the fatherland. You deserve the best. And that is why we are going to take it headlong with the state government. They are to provide conducive, comfortable camp for you.
But the Gombe State government explained that its permanent orientation camp was released to the federal government for camping of victims of terrorism for rehabilitation.
And certainly, and the place they are not accommodated is a school. In fact, it is deserving us perhaps much more than it's deserving you.
The Deputy Governor of the state, Charles Ilia, assured the committee that the temporary camp will soon receive a facelift. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Federal and state governments are considering the possibility of funding indigenous researchers on the production of chemical for pest control in the country. These followed concerns over army worms and koala birds that are destroying maize and rice plantations in some parts of the country. Musa Babaliu reports that this is also part of efforts to find a lasting solution to the challenges facing food production in Nigeria.
Apart from army worms that have been ravaging maize farms in the country, koala birds are also out to destroy rice plantations in Kano, Jigawa and Kebbi states. A visit to this rice farm located in Hadeja in Jigawa state shows that the migrating koala birds have begun to wreak havoc on the plantation. Investigations show that farmers are using local methods to scare the birds, but with little effect. This is evident in the size of the farm, covering over 70 hectares. The farmers appealed for air spray before the birds will wreak more havoc on their farms. The Jigawa State Governor Abubakar Badaru told NTA News that the government has procured chemicals to control the birds.
We are working with the federal government on the best way to create companies that will produce insecticides, so that will also be controlled, produced locally, and the price will reduce. And the same thing with equipment mechanization, to see how best we can partner with the producers of machines for agricultural use, to see how best we can produce the machines locally.
The federal government and Jigawa State are jointly sponsoring rice production in Hadeja. While the federal government provides land and irrigation facilities, the state government is providing inputs and mechanization. From Dutse in Jigawa State, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
A special interfaith prayer has been held in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital, for the quick recovery and return of President Muhammadu Buhari. Solomon Ayedei reports that the prayer was held at the Government House, Lokoja.
The prayer session was organized by Kogi State government to again seek divine intervention for the quick recovery and return of President Muhammadu Buhari. Chairman, Kogi State Chapter of Christian Association of Nigeria, Bishop John Ibenu, and the Chief Imam of Government House, Lokoja, Alhaji Isha Bashir Ohu, led in the prayers, respectively.
And raise him up that he might return unto his work according to your perfect will, in Jesus' name.
شفاء لا يغادر سقما وإذا مرضت فهو يشفين وإذا مرضت فهو يشفين.
They described President Muhammadu Buhari as God sent to Nigeria, hence the special prayers for his speedy recovery to enable him accomplish the good job he has started. The congregation also prayed for the peace and unity of the nation, as well as the development of Kogi State under Governor Yahaya Bello.
By the special grace of God, the Mr. President will soon return to Nigeria hale and hearty, because prayer is very powerful and prayer is getting across to him.
In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
Now let's bring you up to date on sports as well. The Super Eagles' poor performance in Uyo on Saturday has been attributed to lack of leadership within the team, which resulted in players playing without direction. As sports analyst Jacob Onyekale said this on Good Morning Nigeria, while analyzing